So do your best, and I have six total this time.
Mm.
Five are related, and the first one is just a quote that I like. All right, so they're not in order from easy to hard or anything like that. Wait, what just happened? Oh, okay. Your PDF just downloaded. It must have taken a long time because it just popped up.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, all right, let me minimize that. Okay, ready? Oh, crap. I accidentally showed you. Did you read those?
No.
Okay, good.
So I
All
have
right,
to write it on a piece of paper, right?
correct.
Wait a moment. Let me get a piece of paper. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, number one. And I asked myself about the present, how wide it was, how deep it was, how much was mine to keep.
And I ask
Myself about the present, how
about
wide it was, how deep it was, how much was mine to keep. Notice that we start with a conjunction here, which is a grammatical no-no, but for authors, for literature, you're allowed to basically do whatever you want.
do I need to put any semicolons?
Yes. Not
Yes.
a semicolon. Use a regular colon, please.
Regular colons?
Yeah, that's just what he wrote. It's not necessarily grammatically correct. You could use a semicolon if you
Mm,
wanted,
okay.
but here it's a colon.
Let me repeat the sentence, yeah. And I asked myself about the present, how wide it was,
How deep
how
it was,
wide it was, how deep it was,
how much was mine to keep.
how much. So what's next after how much?
Was mine to keep. How much was mine to keep?
How much was mine to keep?
Right,
That's all.
correct.
Do I put a full stop or question mark? Just question mark.
Uh, no, it's a
Or
statement.
just full stop. Oh, okay.
Okay, you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Okay, so Americans, like human beings everywhere, believe many things that are obviously untrue.
Okay. So that's mean they don't like human being. Wait a minute.
Huh? It's saying that he's talking specifically about Americans, but he's also saying that human beings everywhere believe things that are obviously untrue. Okay, Americans, like human beings everywhere, believe many things that are obviously untrue.
Americans like human beings everywhere. And then?
Yeah, there's a comma after Americans, so it's not saying Americans like they
Oh,
like the
because I
verb.
thought you are being sarcastic, like, oh, Americans, they like human beings everywhere, but it's untrue. It's
No,
wrong.
no. That's an
Americans.
example of punctuation changing the meaning
Oh,
of the sentence.
okay. So
American Americans, like human beings everywhere, believe many things that are obviously untrue. Does it help when I read it like that?
yeah.
Okay. That's
But
the way I would read it. I was just trying to read slowly for you.
Americans, like human beings everywhere, believe many things are untrue
That are obviously untrue.
that are obviously untrue.
So they have beliefs that us, the reader, know to be untrue. It's
Mm.
like this term this type of writing is called like it's like confidential, not meaning like secret, but it's like you're confiding. I'll just type it out. I'll show you the word later. CONFIDING. You're
Mhm.
confiding, like you're telling a secret, like between you and me. Look at these people, but we know the truth. It's a style of writing. You're
Okay.
confiding in your reader. You're telling them, listen, we know these things are untrue, but they don't. So just talking about the American public. And it's not, you'll get what I'm saying by the end of these. Okay, number 3. Are you ready for it?
Okay.
Their most destructive untruth is that it is very easy for any American to make money. Full stop. They will not acknowledge how in fact hard money is to come by, comma, and, comma, therefore, comma, those who have no money blame and blame and blame themselves.
Repeat that again. The most.
I'm going to read it in a normal cadence, okay?
Okay.
Their most destructive untruth is that it is very easy for any American to make money. They will not acknowledge how in fact hard money is to come by, and, therefore, those who have no money blame and blame and blame themselves. This is the way I would read it normally.
So I need to write down the whole the whole thing in just one sentence. I can't.
Sure.
I can't catch. I can't follow you.
Their most destructive untruth is that it is very easy for any American to make money.
The most destructive
Their,
untruth is that
their most destructive untruth.
the most destructive untruth is that the
It is very easy for any American to make money.
it is very easy for the Americans to
Any American,
for
singular,
any American
to make money.
to make money. For any American or any Americans, we put singular form of American, right?
Using singular. We're talking about a hypothetical person.
Okay.
So we're saying for any American, just one person, but
Mhm,
it could be anyone.
mhm.
Their most destructive untruth is that it is very easy for any American to make money. There is a possessive at the beginning. I heard you say the, so I just wanted to make sure you got that.
Okay.
We're talking about these things that they hold in their minds that are not true. These are the untruths. So we're saying their most destructive untruth is that it is very easy for American to make money.
Mhm.
Okay. Are you ready for the second part?
Second part. Oh, okay. It's continuous, right? I guess the sentences. Is it
I
continuous?
just put 2 sentences together.
Oh, two sentences. Okay, can.
There's a full stop after money.
Okay.
Okay. They will not acknowledge how, in fact, hard money is to come by, and therefore, those who have no money blame and blame and blame themselves.
They would not acknowledge how hard it is.
How, in fact, hard money is to come by.
How
In
in
fact,
fact
like it's like saying in real life, how, in fact, hard money is to come by.
money is hard to come by. They will not acknowledge how in
Again?
fact money is hard to come by, right?
Yes, correct. They will not acknowledge how, in fact, hard money is to come by.
Wait a minute. How in fact hard money is to come by.
Correct.
So the word after fact will be hard. How in
Yeah,
fact hard money
an
is
adjective here,
to come.
difficult.
Okay.
And in fact is also an adjective here.
Oh,
It's
okay.
saying he wants to emphasize, he could just say how hard money is to come by, but he wants to transition from talking about something in the mind to like, okay, in fact, like the fact, the law, the real life, money is hard to come by. When you actually try to sit there and make money, it's quite difficult, is what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anyway, they will not acknowledge how, in fact, hard money is to come by, and therefore, those who have no money blame and blame and blame themselves.
And therefore, those with no money will blame and
And
blame,
blame and blame themselves.
will blame and blame and blame themselves.
He wants to, this is a, I'm going to start using literary, okay? Like, as in literary technique. It means a technique for writing, specifically writing literature, which is writing stuff for other people to gain. It's like writing stuff for pleasure, basically.
Okay.
But this is a literary technique called repetition. You know, repetition, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you repeat, 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 usually 3 times, and that drives the point that you're making home. It makes it strong.
Okay, got it.
You know
So
this idiom, to drive the point home?
to drive the
To drive the point home.
point home. No.
It comes from in old times when people fought with swords. So if home is the heart, home is like the destination. So to drive the point home is to stab someone in the heart. Like you're getting exactly to the point that you wanted to make. So in order to do that, you're repeating something, like you're using some technique to drive the point home. Like example, he banged his fist on the table to drive the point home. Like you are wrong. He banged his fist on the table. Or she told him that they were done and then she slapped him to drive the point home. But it doesn't have to be negative. It's just emphasizing, right? That's what it means.
So to drive the point home, that's mean you emphasize on a certain thing, right?
Yes, correct.
So
Okay, ready for the next one?
oh, we still have. Okay.
We still have 3 more.
Three.
Okay, this is number 3, by the way, or number 4, sorry.
Number 4.
This inward blame has been a treasure for the rich and powerful, who have had to do less for their poor, publicly and privately, than any other ruling class since, say, Napoleonic times. Do your best to spell Napoleonic. I don't. Actually, it's spelled like it sounds, so I don't expect you to spell it correctly, but I wouldn't be surprised if you did.
Okay,
But don't worry about it.
because I couldn't catch I could only so far I only wrote until blame. This
This
in blame
inward blame has been a treasure
has been a treasure
for the rich and
to
powerful,
Mhm.
who have had to do less for their
to
poor,
to in haste. Did you say just now?
I said, who have had to do less for the
What is
poor.
after the powerful?
Okay, after powerful, who have had to do less for their poor. Publicly and privately.
Publicly or privately?
Publicly and privately.
And privately.
Than any other ruling class.
Than any other ruling class.
Since, comma, say Napoleonic times.
Say
Napoleonic refers to what?
Napoleonic.
Do you know who Napoleon was?
Napoleonic, I guess is it in the medieval period?
No, it would have been in late 1800s France, or
18.
mid 1800 France,
Oh,
like the 19th century. So that's 1800s. You know Napoleon? Have you? Oh my gosh. Sorry, a bird. Have you heard of Napoleon?
no, not really.
Really? Okay. I think that's a Western history thing. Napoleon was after the French Revolution. So France had a king. They had a revolution and got rid of their king. Then a dictator named Napoleon Bonaparte, who was actually from an Italian island, but he was French, like Italian heritage, but born in France. He took over the whole country as their military leader, like a military dictator. And then he was very good at fighting and he conquered a lot of Europe. Like a big percentage of Western Europe was ruled by France during this time.
Mhm.
And the author here is using Napoleonic times as saying like 200 years ago. Like these people have had to do less for the poor people, both in public and in private, than 200 years ago, you know? He's emphasizing, he's driving the point home. Like these rich and powerful people, they don't have to do anything for their poor, and here's why.
Okay.
Okay,
So says Napoleonic.
Napoleonic.
Says the Napoleonic.
Say. We use say as a way of talking about, like, it's like saying but in a literary way. Then you could say, let me use it in a sentence later, okay? I'll type it out.
No problem.
Just right now focus on copying and then we'll go over the meaning, okay?
All right.
Just say, S-A-Y.
Just say.
Not essay, just S-A-Y, like
A.
not an essay like a writing thing. Okay, let's go to number 5. I feel like we're just talking in circles. Okay, number 5. Ready?
Okay.
Many novelties have come from America.
Novelist.
Novelties,
Oh,
meaning new.
novels.
Do you know what a novelty is?
People who write novels.
No, it means a new thing.
Oh, okay.
Something that is novel. It has nothing to do with the book, a novel. It's an annoying thing about English, right? Sometimes words that are spelled the same have nothing to do with each other. Something that is novel means something that is new. So many novelties have come from America, meaning many new things have come from America.
Have come to Malaysia. come to America, right? Many novelties have come
Come from
from
America.
America.
The most startling of these, a thing without precedent, is a mass of undignified poor.
The most startling of
These,
these, okay,
a thing without precedent,
a, a thing without
so the most startling of these, comma, a thing without precedent.
a thing without precedent.
Do you know what precedent means with a C? Not
Oh,
president, not
not the
like the leader,
president, not the leader of the
right?
country.
A precedent is, I think we talked about this word before actually, a long time ago. A precedent is something that has already been established in the past. So saying that this is without precedent is another way of saying it's novel, it's new. This is a new thing. Okay?
Oh, okay. So there are two meanings for president.
No, it's
One is
spelled
the-
differently. This is spelled, well, I don't want to give you the spelling, but
Okay,
it's
never mind.
spelled,
C, I guess it's a C.
yeah, it's spelled with a C and it doesn't have an I in it. No I.
Oh,
There's actually a slight difference in the way you say them. So the President of the United States, the President of, who else has a president?
Precedent.
Right. And then we have precedent. They sound pretty much the same. Sorry about that.
All right.
I wish English was simpler sometimes. Okay. A thing without precedent. Yeah, it is. It is. President versus precedent. There's a slight difference. It's very small. Okay.
Well,
Is go
I don't
ahead.
understand the meaning of the whole statement because it's too deep for me.
You'll get it once we have the words so that we can study. Is a mass of undignified poor.
It's a mass of undignified
Undignified poor.
poor. You mean
Poor can be used as a noun. We used it already in the phrase before. We said who have had to do less for their poor. Poor is a noun meaning the poor people.
hmm,
It's
so
a
I
the
can say
poor,
the rich is enough. I
the
don't need
rich
to say the
and the
rich
poor.
people.
Correct. Yeah, you use
Oh,
it as a noun to talk about all the people that fit in that demographic.
okay. The most startling of these, a thing without precedent
Is
is a mass of undignified poor.
good. And the last question, or the last sentence, is super easy. You ready for it? This is number 6.
Okay.
They do not love one another because they do not love themselves.
They do not love one another because they
Do not
do
love
not love
themselves.
themselves. That's all. Right.
That's all.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna
Done.
share answers with you. Just a moment. I'm gonna add a checklist to this. Okay. Hold on, I'm modifying something so that it's easier for us to check. Okay. I have to find you again. There you are.
I ask myself about present. That's fine. They will.
So did you get the first one correct?
Um, yeah, but I'm supposed to put the what's the punctuation after present? What is it?
Colon.
Colon. Oh, okay.
You can remember semi means partially, right?
Mm-mm.
You know that?
Yeah, semi means
So a colon is a full two dots, and a semicolon is semi. So it's just like this. It's not the full two dots. It's a comma plus a colon. That's why it's called a semicolon.
okay.
There's a logic to it.
Yeah. Novelty. Okay, I'm done.
Cool. So which ones did you get correct? All?
Obviously not, because I find myself struggling with um situating the commas. Most of them I don't know where
Ignoring
the comma.
ignoring punctuation, which ones did you get correct?
Uh, Ignoring the punctuation. The last one and also number 5.
Okay.
Basically, I got them all correct, but except for number 3 and number 4, like the one with the destructive untruth, and another one is uh, Napoleonic. I spelled it correctly, but I missed out the word times at the back.
Well, ignore Napoleonic. It's not really important here.
Okay.
It's just giving an example. It's like saying going back to this time. All
Mm.
right. And I guess also because Napoleon was ruthless. So,
Ruthless? You mean
uh,
they are brutal?
right.
Oh, okay.
So, and I asked myself about the present, how deep it, this one is not related, so let's skip over that. So, let's read through, why don't you read through the whole thing as one piece and see if you kind of grasp the meaning here.
Okay. So I can ignore the first one, right? Start.
Right.
We have to start from Americans. Americans, like human beings everywhere, believe many things that are obviously untrue. And then their most destructive untruth is that it is very easy for any American to make money. They will not acknowledge how, in fact, hard money is to come by, and therefore, who have no money blame and blame and blame themselves. This inward blame has been a treasure for the rich and powerful. who have had to do less for their poor publicly and privately than any other ruling class since, say, Napoleonic times. Many novelties have come from America. The most startling of these, a thing without precedent, is a mass of undignified poor. They do not love one another because they do not love themselves. Are they
Right.
connected? Are these sentences connected?
Yes, they're all from the same. Do you want the full context? Let me find it. It's from my favorite novel. Well, anyway.
Mm. Is it downloadable?
Yeah, it should be public domain by now. It's
Mm.
pretty old. It's like written in the 1960s, 1950s or 1960s.
So the main focus is that they write about the society.
No, actually, the book is about the author. It's a fictional novel, but it's set in World War II. He was a soldier in World War II, and he was stationed in Germany during one of the worst bombings in Germany. So the Americans and the British bombed the German city of, what was it, Dresden. Have you heard of Dresden?
Plates in Germany.
Yeah, so that city was an industrial city, and the Americans and the British got together with bombers, and they bombed the crap out of it, like horrible, horrible bombing, so much that it created a fire tornado that just went through the whole city was just in this cyclone of fire. People were walking around burning alive. People got The streets melted and people's legs were stuck to the street. So he was hiding with the other American soldiers, I guess, during this. He experienced this firsthand and he got to see how horrible it was.
So
And,
this novel is based on true story. So it's
correct. And
no.
this quote is just sort of a reflection on American culture. He has, while he's stuck in this, it's been years since I read the novel, but while he's stuck here, he's having these thoughts about issues, right? And one of them is this attitude where which I think is true, American poor people, they don't really like each other.
All
They
right.
don't have a sense of solidarity. They don't feel like they're together as one group.
This means they prefer to have their life. They prefer to keep their life private. They wouldn't want to sacrifice themselves.
No, not exactly. I think that's true of a lot of people. Sure. I mean, yeah, you could say that, but you could say that about rich people too. A lot of them anyway. But and I'm not saying that I think this is this guy's truth. It's not something that I wrote, but I think there's a lot of let's just read it. So, let's start from here. To quote the American humorist Ken Hubbard, it ain't no disgrace to be poor, but it might as well be. What does that mean?
That's mean it ain't no disgrace to be poor, but it might as well be. It's mean it's not disgraceful to be someone poor, but it might be because of how the society perceives poor
Yes.
people as disgraceful.
Very good. Okay. So it is in fact a crime for an American to be poor, even though America is a nation of poor. So I think that's pretty obvious. Like the meaning there is obvious. So, okay.
Every other nation has fought traditions of men who were poor but extremely wise and virtuous, and therefore more estimable than anyone with power and gold.
So estimable means someone that you should hold in high esteem. Okay. You've
Mhm.
heard of self esteem. Well, you can have esteem for other people. So someone is estimable if they're deserving of praise and deserving of being looked up to. So you can think of like talk about like I don't know, Jesus or the Buddha or these people that were had no real money, but they were wise and virtuous, and people looked up to them more so than the rich people,
But
right?
they act the otherwise, right? Like
Yeah,
so they are basically they are just hypocrites. Is it you? They weigh in the virtuous people. They always talk about the moral values. Like they have
not yet. He's saying that other countries have traditions. Folk traditions are stories that get passed down from one generation to the next. Like, for example, the Hawaiian people have the tradition that the whole world was born on the back of a turtle or something, you know? So a
people
folk
are
tradition
human
is,
beings are born at the back of the turtle.
yeah, they believe something that like the whole world was a turtle and it came into being. Don't I'm not an expert on this.
Okay,
Um,
right. So
Anyway, so a folk tradition is like an old story that gets passed down. I'm sure you know some like Chinese folk traditions. I don't know any Chinese ones, but I can tell you some American ones.
yeah, I have.
Anyway, um,
Don't cut your nails. Don't cut your fingernails at night.
that's more of like okay, that's more of like an
Yes.
idiom, right?
Because these are all the restrictions that we must follow. We shouldn't do some practice. I don't know. There might be a hidden
I'm
reason of
sorry to interrupt. I'm not talking about traditions meaning like a custom. I'm talking that is one meaning, but here a folk tradition is like a folk story.
of story.
Yeah,
Okay.
you understand? That's why I brought up the turtle.
So okay, got it. So that's mean you have a lot of reasons behind the story.
So like there's he's saying that other nations in the world have these stories about people who are wise and virtuous, like maybe uh I really don't know enough about Hinduism, but don't they have a story about how like one of the gods came to earth as a bull and then that's
Oh,
why they're
okay.
respectful of cows, right?
Yeah, correct, correct.
Stuff that's a folk tradition.
Hmm.
Okay, so let's keep reading.
No such tales are told by the American poor. They mock themselves and glorify their betters.
So, do you understand the meaning here?
Yeah, so that's mean
They
they are
look up
quite
to rich
undignified.
people.
They don't value themselves. They just they insult themselves, they look down on themselves, they underestimate themselves, but they glorify their betters, means they
Yeah.
glorify the rich.
Think about since I just finished Squid Game, it's on my mind. But think about the main character from Squid Game and how he treats his friend that went to SNU, Seoul National University. You know,
Mm,
he's always like, "Oh, you're the golden child of wherever they're from. Like, you're great. How did you end up here?" Like, he looks down on himself for being poor, but he glorifies the rich, right?
mm, mm. Yeah.
I mean, by the end of Squid Game, he turns into a totally different character who seems to hate those type of people. Um, but at the beginning, at least, he's sort of this naive guy that looks up to rich people. Like he sees rich people as above himself, right?
Mhm.
And the next sentence.
The meanest eating or drinking establishment owned by a man who is himself poor is very likely to have a sign on its wall asking this cruel question: if you are so smart, why ain't you rich?
Right. Meanest here means poorest.
Meanest means poorest.
Yeah, meanest if someone is real mean, it can mean like the meaning has come to meaning mean. So
I thought mean means being cruel.
right, it does, but there's a secondary meaning, an older meaning, which is poor,
Poor. Okay.
like humble, humble and poor. Like they're saying like just a basic eating, just a basic bar or a
Mm,
basic restaurant.
okay. Basic restaurant. Okay.
Okay.
Get it. Why do they put up the sign on the wall, like asking questions, cruel question, like if you're so smart, why ain't you rich? To remind the poor people? Oh,
Well, the owner put it up. They're saying the owner who's also poor put up the sign. The idea is that it's another example of self-hatred, right? Or just like, oh, you're talking about you're being smart, so why don't you have money? And why
oh,
do they have that on the wall? Well, it's like a traditional thing for especially bars. They'll have like little bits of things stuck to the wall. Like
okay. So what's the purpose of doing that? To remind yourself to work harder to become rich, or they just simply want to mock themselves? They have this kind of self-hatred.
it's a good question. I think that's up to you to decide.
Okay.
I don't have the answer to that. I have an opinion. My opinion is that it's sort
Everyone.
of an unconscious bias towards
Mm,
towards the rich. Okay. Uh, we'll skip this part because it's not that important. There will also be an American flag no larger than a child's hand, glued to a lollipop stick and flying from the cash register. All they're saying here is that they're also like these poor people are also very into America. Like they're super. You see this in every country, actually, not just the author is being critical of his country, right?
critical? You mean
Criticizing.
all
He's
criticizing?
so he is saying that America is like the only country that's like this, and I don't think that's true. I think that many other countries have poor people who look up to rich people and they dislike other poor people for being poor. Like, well, why don't you have the if you have the skill or if you have the brains, why aren't you rich too? And I think also that poor people in every country tend to be the most patriotic. I think, would you agree
Mm,
with that?
yeah.
Like they're super into their country, right? Like the taxi drivers will have like a big Thai flag, like, yeah, go Thailand, you know?
Yeah, I used to go, but yeah, it depends. Oh yeah, correct. Maybe they are brainwashed by the propaganda. They
Maybe.
tend to stick with their nation. Very patriotic. Like in the mainland is, I mean, I believe there are a lot of people like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that if you look at the demographics, who supports the country and who doesn't, it's usually like poor working class people will support the country. Like in China, I think the poor working class people really widely support the country, and then the intellectuals and
Just move on.
the upper class people and the CEOs, they have to be careful, but they probably don't support the country as much.
Mhm. Yeah.
Maybe because they have an idea of what's going on. I'm not criticizing China here. I'm talking about every country, right?
Yeah.
The same in America. Like the poor people are all like, "Yeah, go America. Let's go to war with another country." And then the rich people are like, "Eh, I don't know about
Yeah.
that."
Like in Malaysia too, it happens in Malaysia because I would say mostly the Malays, they depend on the government a lot, so they just blame. They just like to play the blame game. And even a lot of Chinese are moving out of
I was
Malaysia
not
because of
aware of that. Where are they moving to?
mostly to Singapore.
Huh?
Most of us would move to Singapore for a better chance because we don't get fair treatment here. Like even though like I got full A straight A's for my exam, I'm supposed to get a scholarship and then study in a public university, but I got rejected. I believe I'm just one of them. A lot of people have the uh same fate as me. So yeah, it's quite it's quite
Well,
sad.
you're obviously very smart. I think that there's probably quotas. The
Yeah.
university probably want to admit only, Malaysia, like native Malaysian people, whatever the term for the ethnic Malaysian group. I don't know what they're called.
The Malays.
Oh, Malays, okay. All right, anyway, so let's keep reading.
Americans, like human beings everywhere, believe many things that are obviously untrue. Their most destructive untruth is that it is very easy for any American to make money. They will not acknowledge how, in fact, hard money is to come by, and therefore those who have no money blame themselves. This inward blame has been a treasure for the rich and powerful, who have had to do less for their poor publicly and privately than any other ruling class since, say, Napoleonic times. Means, let me see. So the poor will just blame themselves. They don't blame the government,
Yeah, exactly.
right? And then
Which the consequence of that is,
the rich and powerful will not bother to help them out. It's a treasure for them because nobody will compete with them.
yeah, they don't have to, that it's like there's this stereotype, right? Especially for very liberal circles, like politically liberal circles, where people will say, "Oh, the rich are like keeping poor people down," but in this case, the poor people are keeping poor people down. They have their own competition with each other and hatred for each other means that the rich and powerful don't have to actually do anything, right?
They just
Pleasure
let
for
them
them.
rot. They just let the poor
Right.
rot and they don't care. And then the poor will mock the poor. They fight
Right.
among themselves.
Exactly. I mean, look at if I hate to make this about the country where I'm from because I don't want to be like self-centered, but if you look at the riots that happened with over the past few years in America, it was just poor people fighting other poor people mostly, you know. It
Oh,
was along racial lines, but there were no like millionaires out there in the street, you know. It was all just other people with nothing fighting other people with nothing.
that's true too.
Anyway,
But you all, I mean, I'm not being offensive. Hopefully, I don't offend you because I can see a lot of Americans they protest a lot. Like
yeah,
every year, they will
very loud.
just protest about something that is quite uh quite 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 trivial. Like the
Yeah,
girls, like let's say they don't want to wear bras, they go and protest and things like that. So very funny. And they go naked. I also don't know why. So sometimes I don't get I don't get it.
right. But what you're talking about is like they're silly protests about like the women's march or whatever, where they're just sort of those are rich, those are wealthy people, a lot of them, but they're not. I'm talking about when people are burning down cars, burning down shops.
Oh,
Those are poor people attacking other poor people, you
huh?
know?
I thought if you own a shop, you are supposed to be rich.
No, a lot of the shop owners in poor neighborhoods, they're not very poor, but they're like working class.
Mm, I see. They are not super duper rich, but they are enough
But
to sustain themselves.
I wouldn't call them rich at all. I would say that they're,
Just in the
you
middle
know,
class,
lower middle class.
lower middle class. I see.
And compared to someone like, I don't know, Elon Musk or Jack Ma, they're nothing. Their amount of wealth is nothing.
Mm,
Anyway, but I think you got the meaning of this. Um, and just to add to that, let's go back. You feel like you understood?
maybe I think I will just go through it because I
I
find myself quite poor in the vocabulary sometimes. Like when you ask, when you if let's say you give me a picture like what you did in the past, I find myself struggling with. I have maybe I don't know what is going on. I cannot really find the vocabulary to describe what is happening in the picture. I
yeah,
guess yeah,
I
maybe
think
you can guide me on more on the speaking part. Because
yeah,
I feel
that's the goal. I wanted you to I actually didn't plan to spend this much time on the literature, but I think you actually really I was impressed how well you grasped like this area. It seems like you were able to read and then comprehend and then form your own ideas about it, which those are the three steps to really good
thank you.
literary analysis. It shows you're on the highest level of comprehension. I'm not just saying that it's very good.
Oh, thank you.
I'm not just saying that means, you know what that means, right? Like, I'm not just flattering you. I'm saying that that's impressive. Okay,
Okay.
so let's go to,
I thought we have another worksheet that I
yeah,
mean the idiomatic worksheet,
we
right?
do.
I guess I think we have not finished that.
Okay, I was gonna go to something else, but we can go to that. We don't have much time, so let's go to the idiom.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I have a copy of it for you.
Right.
Are you sure? I thought we finished this. Creme de la creme. We
Oh
did
yeah.
that.
I guess we stopped at wait a minute, on top right there. Can you
What?
scroll up a
Snow
little bit?
clone?
Yeah, snow cone and also
Okay. Katana. Katana or Katina. So
no, I have not seen. I mean we have not discussed that before.
I'm not sure how important Katana is, but I can explain it to you. Snow clone is pretty important. So a snow clone is a new, you don't need to know the word snow clone, but it's a new variation on an old idiom or cliche. So we have this, we start with a basic blueprint, right? As X as it gets, right? I think the original was as good as it gets,
Mm-hmm.
but you can swap in pretty much any adjective in, and then you get a snow clone idiom, which the idiom is recognizable because it sounds similar to the original, but its meaning changes slightly. So,
For example, as bad as it
right,
gets
as
or
bad
as
as it
terrible.
gets, as disgusting as it gets,
Okay.
as hard as it gets. Like this job is as hard as it gets.
Mm.
Working in the sewer is as dirty as it gets.
Working at the sewer.
Yeah,
Sewer means the drain or what? I
yeah.
think
In
it's-
tight long. It's sewer is the part that goes underneath the street where all this people's poop and pee goes. And
So,
also all the wastewater. It'll be urine, feces, and then all the wastewater. Like when it rains, all the water will go into there.
can you show me the photo of it? Sewer and drain.
They're
Oh,
the same.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, they're slightly different here. You can see my whole screen, right? Or just the whole tab.
I can. Ah, okay.
So
This
this is what a sewer, this is a really old one, I think.
I see. How
I'm
about
pretty
the
sure some
image?
of the sewers in Thailand are just pipes going into the river, but let's not talk about that. Okay, so
Like, how about the round thing on the road, right? Like, let's say it
oh,
sometimes
that's
you see the road,
access. That's called a manhole.
the
Literally,
manhole.
literally because here, look, there's even an illustration there. So it's so that guys can climb down there, and girls, I guess, if girls want to do that,
So
can climb.
who will be responsible to do the job? The plumber or
The person that works on the sewer,
uh-huh, the
they're
sewer
called like
man?
it'll be like a maintenance worker.
Sorry?
A maintenance worker. They don't have an actual,
Mm.
they don't have a specific name like fireman. There isn't a sewer man. They'll just have like city maintenance.
Can
Like
you spell it
whoever's,
for me? Sorry.
what's that? Sure.
Can you spell it? Maintenance.
Maintenance something. Like you could say maintenance person, maintenance
Maintenance.
man, maintenance woman.
Maintenance per or worker. Can I
Yeah.
say?
Okay. Let's say worker. Yeah, that's good. I think that's what I said originally, right?
Mm,
Okay. Maintenance worker.
okay. So this is suicide manhole. Okay, got it.
Right. And so here's the difference. Let's go back to this. So this is a drain. See where it says catch basin?
Wait.
That's a drain. That's what we call a
Oh,
drain,
oh, this is a train.
right? That catches rainwater.
Uh-huh. So that's mean we can see the drain easily, like when we walk past, maybe when we walk past the houses, and then we can see the drains like at the sidewalk. Is it? Or
And
just
the stuff from the toilet should, because I'm not sure it does in every country, but it
some,
should go to a
is it
separate
covered?
pipe.
Is
What's
the
that?
drain covered? Is the drain covered or
No. It
it's
has like a mesh thing on it. You know what I mean?
a mesh thing? Oh,
Did
okay.
you see the movie
MESH,
It?
right? The clown sewer.
Remember this scene?
IT clown.
It. Oh, did you see the movie?
This is no.
This. It's a famous
Oh,
scene. So it'll have something like this. You've seen these, right? They have them in Malaysia. They have them in Thailand.
oh, okay. I guess because it's open.
Yeah,
But
sort of. There's a little open hole here, and
um,
then there's a grate here. The grate is where
I see. It was basically it's
it's called a
not
stone
fully
drain.
covered.
Here, this is what they look like in Thailand.
Oh, storm drain.
Yeah.
Okay. For Malaysia, it's open. You don't have something that covers it.
Oh, that sounds dangerous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. And
Um,
so I can start with the recruitment, right? And then I guess we can start in, do you want to start it in December or January?
December would work for me.
December.
Probably the earlier the better because
I guess,
this whole term I'm going to be teaching online. Whenever my school stops freaking out about COVID, then they'll probably go back to having in-person lessons. And then I'm going to have to really, let's cross that bridge when we come to it.
okay, sure. So because they are quite concerned, they are not willing to, because most of them, they want to try out the class first. So maybe I will just collect the trial class fee first, and then
Sure,
I'll
yeah.
transfer the amount once it's confirmed, like maybe a few days before the class, I'll transfer the amount to you according
Alright.
to the number of students that.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, I
Um,
think you can earn much more with the group setting.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good idea. I'll let you handle recruitment, and I'll just let me know what the focus and the level is gonna be, and then I'll prepare
Yeah.
materials.
So they are, for me, from the feedback I get, they are quite weak at grammar, and they struggle with their confidence level. They don't know, like let's say,
Hold on, let me write this down.
okay.
I'll
So
just
I guess the grammar part, right, you can actually use the PDF file from the PDF or copy. I guess that's sufficient enough.
for them.
Grammar, and then they struggle with um, making statements, long one. Maybe they say, I want to eat. I want to eat fried rice. They can only they wish to tell they wish to expand their sentences, and yeah, perhaps because mainly because they struggle with grammar, they are scared of making mistakes when they speak. Yeah. And they most of them, they work in the business uh setting, so they wish like sometimes they have foreigners who come in, and then they try to talk to them, but they try to uh um, they try to escape. I mean, it's not like escape, they are trying to like get away from them because they don't want to embarrass themselves. That's what I heard from them lah. And I have another university student too. So some are pretty weak, while some are in the intermediate level. So need to stay balanced when we create the worksheet, not to be too hard. I think conversational wise, is
Yeah.
better.
I think I could easily play the role of like a foreign customer and start super easy and then step it up and make increase the difficulty level along with their confidence.
So do you want to set a maximum capacity in the class, because they are quite concerned with that? But
Well, you would know better than I. What are their concerns that it's going to be too big?
uh I'm not sure actually, because I'm afraid that the fee that I charge, actually the fee that I charge is slightly lower than the market price, because they charge more, because they go through the agency. So normally they would just take in a maximum of 15 students.
Okay.
But in my post, I kept it at 20. So maybe 20 is a lot, right? It's too much.
Well, if the normal capacity is 15,
Yeah,
let's keep it at 15.
just keep it at 15.
Mhm.
Okay. So and then we can like split it into half, right? Can like
Let's make it 16 then, since
16,
it's a nice equal number.
16 or 18.
And you can explain why is it 16? Well, we need to split it between two teachers.
Oh yeah. So it's easier to calculate.
Okay. I have some good starting points here. So, yeah, and the dates we discussed were, let's see. You said I told you I'm usually, so if I go to the track, I won't be back until like 6 or 7. So maybe Wednesday, Thursday, Friday would be best.
Uh, wait a minute. Wait, let me show you um my timetable. Can I stop your screen sharing?
Sure.
Wait a moment. Let me see. Because I actually wanted to give up my Monday and Tuesday timing, but I guess nobody wants to have class on Monday. I guess Tuesday
I would,
until
I would be fine with it. It's just I don't have. I literally can't do it. I don't have.
mm,
Um,
I see. Like,
I mean, with you we can reschedule, but with this class I can't reschedule 20 people or 16 people.
oh,
It's
okay.
not like I'm there. It's not like I'm there every week. It's just when I am, it's gonna be happening occasionally.
Okay. And then, so right here, uh, you prefer to have class on Wednesday, right? And then I will do the class on Thursday
Okay.
because I plan to change the time right here to 8 to 9, so I can have class at 9:30 or 9:15. I actually wrote that 9:15. Is it
So
okay
for
for
me,
you?
it'll be
9:15
seven
my
to eight.
time.
For Thai time, it'll be 7 to 8 p.m. Wednesday is when I'll be teaching
Uh,
them.
70, 8 to 9 Thai time. The time in Thailand, 8 to 9. Because I
Is
don't
this
want to
schedule?
confuse myself. Because I am supposed to, I should have added another column right here.
Okay, is this, are the times on here Malaysian time, correct?
Yeah, Malaysian time. So I'm
So it'll
planning
be,
to do another to make another class at
for
nine
me, it'll
fifteen
be
until
7 to
10:15.
8 Thai time.
8 to
8 to 9 Malaysia will be 7 to 8 Thai time.
I'm planning to do much later. Mine one is 9:15 p.m. until 10:15. That's my plan.
Okay.
On so that will be 8:15. But if you wish to make the class earlier, yes, you can.
Well, that means that if it's that late, then I can do it on Tuesday.
Oh, you can do it on Tuesday.
Yeah, yeah, I'll be back by then.
Oh, sure. Tuesday, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Wouldn't it be too tiring for you like after you finish the racing and then have to start the class?
it could be, but let's,
You want to make it on
maybe
Tuesday?
maybe I'll feel refreshed. Sometimes it's nice to do your sport. Okay, so I was fine. I taught a student yesterday. I taught her after my session and it went well, I think. So,
Oh, okay. So your final,
but if we could do it Wednesday, that would be easier for me.
you want to do it on Wednesday? Yes, you can. I
But I
guess
thought we had 3 days per week, correct?
3 days per week.
Didn't you tell me originally the plan for this class was to meet 3 times per week or only two?
Just one is enough. Just
Oh, okay, one. Okay.
means we have 8 classes per month. So you will handle 4 classes while I will handle the other 4 classes. And then we will have rest days on the 5th day, like sometimes on the 29th, 30th, and the 31st. They will be our off days. So we don't teach on the 5th days of every month.
Okay. Tentatively, let me start Tuesday just because I have a lot of students on Wednesday and I don't want to burn myself out.
Oh, okay. Tuesday. You want to have it on Tuesday. So your time will be Tuesday at 9:15. that will be Malaysia time.
Yeah. So
So
I'll
yours will be
I'll write for
8:15.
me. It'll be 8:15 to
to
9:15.
9:15, while mine one will be um Thursday. Thursday, same timing too.
Okay, and then maybe if something comes up, we can switch times. Like if you're not free at that time, or if I'm not free at that time, we can switch our lessons.
Oh, okay. Because I guess they are more excited to have your class first.
Of course.
Yeah. So I will just like every classes I will look at your video. I will look at the oh yeah and also I told them that we will have video recordings and upload it on the YouTube channel, but we keep it private.
Okay.
So that will
Let's
be
use
a
your
selling
Zoom.
point or highlight.
Let's use your Zoom classroom then, because I've been using Google for my students, and I don't think Google has a screen recording function. I can check if there's a way to do it.
Okay, sure. So I will just remain muted, right?
Yeah.
I can just stay there and then remain muted. Just pass the um just pass the torch to you. Yeah, okay, so we will fix this time, right? And then you will take Tuesday and I'll take Thursday, or you want me to take Tuesday and then you take Thursday?
I'm thinking I'll take Tuesday. Let me see what my Thursday looks like. Yeah, it's probably better for me
On
to take
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Sorry, Thursday.
Tuesday is probably better for me. I'll take Tuesday.
You take Tuesday.
Yep.
How about Thursday?
I have
Lots of
I have
class.
a free time there. I don't have anyone that late. It's just on Thursday, I have a lot of stuff. Like I have a lot of students, so I don't want to be like killing myself.
Friday too, you can't do it on Friday too, right?
Um, Not that late. I think that
Okay,
would
so
be,
Tuesday will be perfect for you, right?
yeah, Tuesday would work well.
Okay, then I'll fix this time then. Okay, so if there's anything, I think I will drop you a message online.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, maybe later I will make a group chat in the WhatsApp and then maybe
Just
I
add.
can add you in. I should add the US number or your Thai number because I think you messaged
Just
me
search.
using two phones.
It'll automatically, I think, because I didn't have any problems when I switched SIM cards. You should be
Oh,
able to find me.
can you text me a hi and then I add
Sure.
you?
See, you already
Okay,
have me.
yes, I received it. Okay,
All right.
all right.
I'm gonna get
So
ready for my next student. So,
okay, no problem. So thanks very much.
all
See
right.
you.
Talk to you later.
Okay, goodbye.